Namaskar. Welcome to Government e-Marketplace. In this module, we are going to learn the following process of incident management for buyers and HOD. About overview of incident management. How to access the dashboard. How buyer can create an incident. How buyer can resolve an incident. How HOD can close an incident. What is incident management? Incident management is a grievance redressal mechanism employed by GEM to report and respond to of the platform that can affect service quality or service operations. It aims to identify and correct problems while maintaining high service standards and minimizing the impact on the business. Incident against contract can be created by buyer or seller or admin or system user. Incident against bid can be created by buyer or admin. Incident against catalog can be created by buyer or seller or admin. A notification is sent to the users via email in case of any update on the incident raised received. Click here to view the full incident management policy. There are 4 types of deviations listed in the incident management policy. They are as follows. Mild deviation, related to incomplete or unintentional erroneous submissions of information. Serious deviation, impact on the functioning of other stakeholders. Severe deviation, potential to adversely impact the market ecosystem. Grave deviation, affects the reputation or credibility of GEM platform. Let's also look at the key features of incident management. The incident can be raised by the following buyer, seller or service provider or GEM admin. Buyer and seller can resolve the incident within 7 days of creation of incident. GEM admin can escalate incidents even before the incident escalation due date. This is how the incident management process flows. Now let's understand the process of viewing incidents that are already created. To view incidents created by you will need to log in. To log in, open gem.gov.in and click on Login. Enter user ID and CAPTCHA text visible on the screen and click on Submit to proceed. Enter your password and click on Submit. Welcome to your homepage. Here, click on the Dashboard tab to proceed further. Click on Incidents tab to view Incident Management Dashboard. View type of incidents raised such as pending, escalated to GEM, recommend action, SCN sent, etc. by clicking on respective tabs. Click on Status tab to view status of incident. This is the buyer dashboard for incident management. You may filter incidents by selecting the relevant option from the drop-down menu here. Click here to respond to clarifications provided by the seller. The incidents can be sorted using the following filters. Raised by me. Buyer can see all incidents raised by them. Raised against me. Buyer can see all incidents created by sellers for them. Raised by office or zone. Buyer can see all incidents raised by a specific buyer, office or zone as per organizational hierarchy. Raised against office or zone. Buyer can see all incidents raised by sellers against a specific buyer, office or zone as per organizational hierarchy. Let us now learn the process of creating an incident. This is the buyer dashboard for incident management. Click on New to create an incident. Select the type of incident and click on Next to proceed. If you choose to raise contract type incident, the following fields need to be mandatorily updated: contract number or order number, invoice number, if available, raised against, along with a brief description of the issue being faced. For raising bid or A-type incidents, you will need to update the fields as displayed in the screenshot visible on the screen. Here is an example of an incident response on failure of reply to show cause notice by seller within 5-day time frame. Once an incident is created, buyer and seller will get 7 days to resolve the issue through direct communication. If the issue remains unresolved after 7 days, or if the buyer is dissatisfied with the first comment of the seller, whichever is earlier, buyer can escalate the incident to GEM team. As soon as incident is escalated, the system automatically sends a show cause notice to the seller. Once a show cause notice has been sent, seller is given 5 days to respond. If the seller responds within 5 days from the time of issuance of notice has been sent, GEM officials, on recommendation, can either suspend the seller or close the incident after due diligence. The suspended seller is restricted from participating in the bid thereafter and will not be able to upload a catalog of offered products or services. However, if the seller fails to respond within 5-day window, system sends out a warning message to the user with an additional 5 days time frame to respond to the show cause notice. Here is an example of an incident response on failure of reply to show cause notice by seller within 5-day time frame. Auto action is taken by system in case of no response to show cause notice after 10 calendar days. In case the seller fails to respond to the notice within 10 days from issuance, the system will suspend the seller from the platform. Once the seller is suspended, they cannot participate in a bid or upload a catalog of their offered products and services. Buyer is notified about suspension of seller through email. Please note, seller suspension is as per the severity of the incident. All sellers will be able to fulfill the already awarded contracts during suspension period. The seller suspension status can be viewed on the incident response page. Buyers can raise an incident against the seller during technical evaluation stage as well. They can do so by raising bid or A-type incident and selecting the seller from the list of sellers who participated in the bid from the drop-down menu. The buyer must upload supporting documents and provide adequate reason for raising the incident. Let's move on to incident resolution process. Click here to reply to sellers. Incident can be escalated to the GEM admin. The GEM admin will take action as per the GEM incident management policy. Click here to escalate the issue to GEM admin. As soon as the incident is escalated by buyer to the GEM admin, a show cause notice is sent to the seller service provider. In case of possibility to take corrective action, the seller service provider may either take corrective action immediately or express his willingness to rectify the deviation in 10 calendar days on IM dashboard itself. This shall be done by the seller service provider within 5 days of receiving show cause notice. If the buyer does not provide consent to permit 10 calendar days to seller service provider to rectify the deviation, GEM shall take action as per the policy. In case the buyer responds stating that they would like to give opportunity to the seller service provider to rectify the deviation in 10 calendar days, the buyer shall provide their consent on IM dashboard within 5 calendar days from the date the seller or service provider made request to rectify the deviation. Once buyer accepts the request of seller service provider to take corrective action, a window of 10 days for rectifying the problem is auto-permitted. To accept the seller's request for rectification of deviation, click here. This action button is only available when a request is raised by the seller for rectification. Click here to permanently resolve the incident and close the case. Please mention the reason for closure before submitting. Click here to print a copy of raised incident ticket. Sellers can exercise mutual resolution functionality to resolve a particular incident raised. Click on Mutual Resolution option to use this functionality. The raised mutual resolution request is captured in the incident responses. The Mutual Resolution button is displayed on the buyer incident detail page. Buyer has the option to approve or reject the request. The buyer's approved or rejected responses are captured in the incidents dashboard. Buyer can add comments before approving or rejecting the mutual resolution request. Buyer can view pending requests for mutual resolution in Incidents Management dashboard. Mutual resolution response from buyer is shown in the comment box. The system will close the incident ticket if mutual resolution request is accepted by buyer. Let's take a look at the incident closure request by HOD. The HOD of a buyer can access the Incident Management dashboard via the Incidents tab available on HOD dashboard. HOD can view the count of incidents raised by secondary buyers and the incidents raised against the buyers on their IM dashboard. The count of actionable incidents would be displayed to the user, like count of incidents raised against the buyer on which SCN has been issued by the GEM and incidents on which action has been taken. HOD can also view reason-wise and buyer-wise incidents against the buyer on the IM dashboard. HOD can request closure for incidents for which action against buyer has been taken. You can refer to the latest Incident Management Policy module under Resources section. Here are the key takeaways of this module. The module aims to enhance transparency, liability, and communication between buyers and sellers. The system automatically closes the incident after 37 days from date of creation if the incident is due for escalation. The seller service provider needs to respond within 5 days of receiving the show cause notice. A notification email will be sent to buyer and the seller on the closing of the incident. Only GEM admin can choose to close the incident after the show cause notice has been issued. Buyer can accept the mutual closure request for order bid incidents created against the seller. By focusing on a solution-based, corrective approach, the module ensures smooth functioning and a trust-based environment for buyers and sellers. Thank you.